Right, is that recording? Gotta be careful here for some reason. I thought it was the sound discs, but I think the camera is starting to give up the ghost now and pack up. So I just want to move that around so I get some photos of my beautiful children in place. This is selling Gloryland by the pound. This is take 2. I'm so sorry that I'm lisping a bit. My jaw is seizing up almost completely now. So take 1 of this came with a ranty about the state of democracy in England. Take 2, I'll just go straight for the song, apart from this bit. I've had to change the chords around on this due to the fact I can no longer play B diminished. So I've substituted a D. It makes it kind of jaunty, really. Which just took me by surprise when I did the first take, but anyway, see if I've got any use to it now. I wrote this in 1994, and 30 years later it still holds up. Maybe more so, we had a bit more democracy 30 years ago. People who think that England's democracy, what rights have you got? I'm sorry, you just have no rights, and you need to stop and think about that. Your NHS is 8 million long. The NHS Ombudsman was in the newspaper a month ago saying the NHS has a culture of corruption and cover-up, falsified reports about patients dying and misdiagnosed, etc., etc. And yesterday, Victoria Aiken, the Conservative Minister for Health, is saying we need to address the cover-ups in the NHS. Yeah, I wrote to her a month ago, giving her documented evidence of a GP that ignored the evidence of his eyes of a patient he was in front of, saying he backed up a doctor that made what I say is the erroneous report 3 years ago. And he said, Dr. Shields is quite adamant that you don't have, Dr. Shields hasn't seen me for 3 years almost to the very day. He doesn't know if I've got cancer, leukemia, mad cow disease. He doesn't know. I mean, it's crazy, you know. He's got, by that token, every GP in the country could say, well, no. Well, I'll go off on different. The analogy I came up with was a bit like that GP. This is the madness of it. And he did it in this room, you know, I was lying there in my wheelchair. And if the GP was in here, and he said, oh yeah, you got pink walls in this house. And I said, what do you mean, pink walls? I redecorated 2 years ago. Wallpaper's white. Oh, no. Dr. Shields was in here 3 years ago. He says, you got pink wallpaper. Well, maybe I did have pink wallpaper 3 years ago, but you can see it's white now. Dr. Shields says the wallpaper in this room is pink. You're standing in the room. You can see the wallpaper's white. No. Dr. Shields, you'd think he was mentally ill. He's a GP on £150,000 a year with all the perks. And if he's wrong to that extent on one person, he's wrong to that extent. With the possibility of being wrong on that extent to everyone, okay? That's just one example. If you think your police force is there for law instead of for itself, you ain't been reading the newspapers for the last 20 years. If you're Irish, for the last 50 years. And if you're of coloured skin, since time immemorial. There's for sale signs on every door, and all the young boys are off to war. And if you listen, you can hear the poets laughing, and the suicides all stand in line, and the priest says, boys, come on in, it'll be fine. There's no comfort in the Bible, but thanks for asking. There's young girls scrounging in the dirt, hit on by a rich man in $50 shirts. If everyone is born equal, they don't show it. Even honesty has become corrupt, and the devil smiles. Things are looking up. If the truth still stands a chance, she don't know it. The harps are burning in the sand, and no one knows where it's safe to stand. They throw you on the heap before you're finished. The suits just sneer, I gotta go. Send me your sister's portfolio. As justice stands alone, bereft and diminished. The vendetta boys have all the power, and beauty dies at 90 miles an hour. Fools go rushing in, and angels tremble. Wealth buys you better enemies. If they can't control, they don't try to appease. When they let you down to die, they're none too gentle. It's 85 down in the shade, and all the good girls feel afraid. They're getting lots of offers from bad actors. The small ads read by now, pay them. The same applies to all your friends. Prayer won't even get you through today's fear factor. Damn disease. What I don't have. And my pink walls. Put it this way, I think an 8 million waiting list can't be wrong. I mean, it is wrong, but if you know what I mean. I'm talking about whether people are doing a good job and stuff. What was it the police commissioner said last year? In light of those ladies that were murdered and defiled by their officers. 1 in 10 police officers in the Met are currently undergoing an investigation. I mean, tell it to someone who lived in London in the late 70s, early 80s. Jeez. Don't know if I can do so many times before. See me on the end, so parents with so many demands. Do good school, don't stay out late. The life was not in her own hands. So one day she runs off to the city, not knowing what she wants or what she finds. Maybe I'll do that on a separate file. That's a hard song to sing, but video footage of my children in the background.